Hello and welcome back to another episode of Word Wednesday. I'm your host, Paige Goodger, and as always, we have Bix Weir. How's it going, Bix?
It's going great, Paige. I heard you got older over the weekend.
I did. I had a birthday. I just also wanted to say thank you guys so much for everyone who reached out and wished me a happy birthday. You guys are so thoughtful and so kind and really made my day so special. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And yeah, so let's get into it. So today's word is gold.
I love gold.
And my definition of gold is the original anti-fiat store of wealth. So our current financial system was originally based on gold, and gold is considered real money because you can't print any more of it. So slowly over time, the Federal Reserve Bank, who controls the fiat system, has stripped money away from gold, and the importance of gold has been lost in time. On the road to Ruda, we look at how the Wishes and Rainbows comic book is all about returning to the gold standard and how an unbacked monetary system inevitably destroys the world. So today we will be talking all things gold to give you a better understanding of why it's important, how it got its value, how it retained its value, and what we can look forward to in the next couple months regarding gold. So let's get right into it. Since ancient civilization, from the Egyptians to the Inca, gold has held a special place of actual and symbolic value for humanity. Gold has, moreover, been used for money exchange, as a store of value, and as valuable jewelry and other artifacts. So, Bix, why was gold originally used as money, and why has it always been so valuable?
Gold has a special, unique place in the world, mainly because it's durable, it's shiny, it's beautiful. It can't be destroyed, which is really cool. If you're thinking about, where do I hold my wealth? You can't destroy gold. And all these great properties. So it built as a store of wealth. It hasn't really been used as a currency much in history. Gold is mainly a store of value, and it's beautiful. If you've ever held a gold eagle, you're going to say, oh my God, this even feels special. There's a special feeling to gold that even silver can't touch. They have two different feelings, and I love them both, but yeah, gold probably beats out silver as far as the way it makes you feel. So I mean, there's a ton of reasons why gold is really has a unique place in the world of metals. It's the number one. It's the king of metals, and has been since the beginning of time.
Yeah. So, what is the importance of gold and not other precious metals? Why does gold matter so much?
I would say the things I said. It's beautiful, and it's got that history of being a store of value. Whereas silver has a history of being a currency, and then with the Industrial Revolution, it's got a history of being necessary part of what we do. Then you got platinum and palladium. Each of them have certain industries they can go into, but I would call them lesser precious metals, mainly because of the history of gold and silver and the properties of each. I mean, gold really is the most beautiful metal and is the least destructible. You can beat the crap out of a piece of gold and bury it in acid in the bottom. Well, I don't know about acid, but in the bottom of the ocean and pull it out just like it was yesterday, 100 years later. So it's the durability, it's the beauty. Again, it's been used to adorn the most beautiful women in the world. I see you're not wearing a golden necklace. Where is Josh when we need him?
I am wearing gold.
Oh, you are? Oh, there you go.
And gold earrings.
Oh, very nice.
Episode.
Okay, I'll give Josh a break on that one.
Yes, I tried to. You just can't see them.
Oh, it's a little low. That's all right. My eyes are going. That's it. So yes, absolutely. Gold has a place. Now, it doesn't mean gold's more valuable than silver. Silver has a completely different story, which we talked about last time. But gold has absolutely, although there's many conspiracies behind it, it has absolutely a place in our monetary system.
Yeah, I agree. How does gold get its value?
Again, it starts historically, but the biggest thing is, like anything, scarcity should be the number one issue when it comes to money or stores of value. And that's what on the road to Ruta, we talk about the conspiracy behind the scarcity of gold. Gold is not as scarce as the bankers would love to tell you. Now, remember, the bankers have the most gold in the world, so they're going to want to control the price whichever way it goes. But there are millions of tons of gold on planet Earth, both in the refined form and still in the ground, being held kind of prisoner until we go off the fiat system. And that it comes directly from the Bank of Boston documents that I've looked at, as well as all the other research into the gold in the Grand Canyon. So I'm not saying that the gold price won't go up. I do believe it will go up, not as much as silver, but it will go up, not because gold is so scarce, it isn't, but because there's so many fiat dollars out there. There's so many stocks and bonds and derivatives of fiat money, different currencies, everything bidding against this one thing, gold, a standalone asset. So I think gold will go up substantially. My guess is the first stop is around $50,000, which right now it's about $2,000. But in the same breath, silver will go up probably 5 to 10 times what gold goes up. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. How is the price of gold determined at the current moment, and what drives the price of gold?
That's the question to beat all questions. There's only 2 exchanges on planet Earth, and one of them is in London called the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association. As you can tell, there's no word exchange in the whole thing because it's not even an exchange. They call it an exchange, but nothing really happens there. It's just a fraud to control the price. Then we get to the other market, which is the only market for silver on planet Earth, which is the COMEX. And the problem with that is that's the big commodity exchange. Problem with that is, well, there's many problems. The biggest problem is they don't trade silver. They trade futures and options. So yes, you can buy a silver future that delivers today type of thing, but the majority is just a paper game of kind of like a shell game. And for decades, probably like 50 years, they've been rigging it with computers and derivatives. So that's the way, and you can tell by the volumes, over 1 billion ounces trade every day in the COMEX, which is ridiculous because every year we mine about 850 million ounces. So they're trading 1 billion a day just to rig the price, and it's all fake. And right now we're kind of going through a time where it could be freed from that manipulation, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes, me too. Me too. So let's talk gold standard for a minute. As you guys probably know, the gold standard is a monetary system where a country's currency or paper money has a value directly linked to gold. So Bix, can you explain what the gold standard means in regards to the road to Ruta theory? And do you think we should return to a gold standard?
Well, it's interesting because before 2009, I would have said, absolutely, it's our only hope for survival. The gold standard in the past has always returned the people to a more sound monetary system after the politicians and others destroy the old system, the bankers and the politicians mainly. But you can't blame just the politicians and bankers. We the people fall for it every time. And, you know, it's kind of embarrassing to think that we're going to have to go through this again. But every time an unbacked fiat system fails, it goes back to what the people know. See, that's another scary thing. What the people knew back then was only gold and silver as money. And then cryptocurrencies came into play, and all of a sudden the world changed. But with the gold standard, it introduces honest dealings, strict, tighten your belt type of monetary policy, where if you don't have it, you can't spend it, as that's not what we have today, obviously. So a gold standard would be based on that. And then you get into the road to Ruta stuff, the Fed Boston comics were all about. That's the only way back to a sound system, is to go back to a gold standard, and a real gold standard where you walk into a bank and say, okay, I have $20 worth of gold right here in a $20 bill. It says pay to the bearer 20 gold pieces. You walk in, you give them your $20, and they give you the 20 gold pieces. Obviously, $20 wouldn't quite buy you the same thing these days, but that was the idea. And that's what's in the Fed documents. As a matter of fact, there's one of the comic books, and then there's a teacher's guide in the Road to Ruta stuff. There was a pamphlet that came with it called Banking Basics that explains the basics of banking. And in that, there's a picture cartoon of a girl going to a bank with a stack of bills and the teller giving her a stack of 19 gold coins. Wow. So, yeah, they were ready for it. And then the world fell apart. We didn't take advantage of it. We bailed out the banks, and now crypto is going to try to be there when the old system fails again.
Okay, so you think it's moving more towards the crypto than a gold standard?
I think it'll be both. There's problems with both, but at the same time, there's advantages to both. Ultimately, it will be cryptos for probably as long as we need money. And then at some point, as we evolve, probably 50 years from now, we won't even need money. We'll invent replicators that, you want cheeseburger, put cheeseburger in the schematic, and poof, you get a cheeseburger, like on Star Trek. We're at the end game. Good and bad. One, if you position yourself properly with cryptos and silver and gold, if you want gold, if you have to have it, you'll be positioned to do well and at least transfer your assets over into the new system. Mm-hmm. If you don't, at least the old system of control over your life will be gone. The nanny state's going to go away. So we're going to all have to take care of ourselves for a while. But that shouldn't be a bad thing to people. We should be taking care of ourselves anyway.
Radical self-reliance.
There you go.
So the gold and silver ratio represents the number of ounces of silver required to purchase 1 ounce of gold. And investors use the fluctuating ratio to ascertain the relative value of silver compared to gold. This comparison allows the trader to determine the optimal time to purchase one metal over the other, and it also helps investors diversify their precious metal holdings. So why is the gold and silver ratio so important in the Road to Ruta theory?
Well, I think it's a blaring sign that there's something wrong with the pricing of both gold and silver. When you have a historical ratio of 15 to 1, and then computers are introduced, and all of a sudden the historical ratio goes to 30 to 40 to 1. And then these days, when the ratio hit 125 to 1, there's something wrong. Now it has since came back, but nobody gave a proper explanation of why a commodity that comes out of the ground, there's no more than a 5% fluctuation in the amount of silver mined every year. And the amount of price fluctuation, there is no excuse for the silver gold ratio going 125 to 1 other than manipulation. So if there is no excuse other than manipulation, where are the regulators? Where are the cops? And we talked about that already. But yeah, the ratio is good. I think we're returning to something better than the historical best. So for silver, the historical best is probably around 10 to 1, 10 or 15 to 1. I think we're going to blow by that. One, because the manipulation is going to end soon, I believe, which means it'll have to be freely traded. Number two, there's massive amounts of more gold out there than what the people have been told, like 10 times at least the amount. So that might make the price of gold not go up as high. I think it'll still go up, but it won't go up as high as silver, because I think we're really running out of silver. Silver, if you look at the periodic table, and the U.S. Geological Society has a graph of which commodities are going to run out first. And, oil is going to be like 60 years. And so this is given the current reserves on the ground. Silver is literally at the bottom at all times. I think it's 12 or 13 years before all the silver has been mined. And then you either got to find some more, or you're going to have to go without silver. And then what happens to the price of something when it is high in demand and low in supply? Theoretically, goes through the roof.
Skyrockets.
So yeah, it's exciting. The gold-silver ratio is something that has been artificially constructed, and it's going to find its way back. With a freely traded market, it will find its way back to where it should be, which is how much gold is out there, how much silver is out there, and who wants it.
Yeah. So investing in silver, if there's going to be less silver available and more gold available because of all these gold deposits we don't know about. It's a great time to get into silver.
Absolutely. And a great time to swap. If any of you have gold out there, it's a great time to swap your gold for silver. You can get in the neighborhood of 70 ounces for your gold. 1 ounce of gold gives you 70 ounces of silver. It's still, I mean, you could have got 125 a couple months ago because of the criminality, but right now 70 is still a great exchange, especially because there's about equal amounts on the planet available for sale. So I think the price should go, the ratio should go 1 to 1.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like you kind of answered these two questions, but what is your overall attitude and disposition to gold right now? And how do you think the gold market will play out in the next couple of months?
It's really exciting time for gold. I think the mysteries of gold will start to come out, that there's massively more ounces of gold available. That won't be good for price, but price is artificially set. The other thing that's going to happen is the end of the manipulation of gold. Gold is just as manipulated as silver. And with gold, if gold is freely traded, who knows what the price could be? It all comes down to how many fiat dollars are out there. And who in their right mind, if gold starts going up too fast, everybody loses faith in the current underlying currencies that it's being valued in. And that's why they have to keep the price, a lid on the price. So yeah, I think it's going to get really chaotic here over the next couple months as all these things come to a head. It's kind of like the perfect storm for our financial system. And I think it'll be a lot crazier before it smooths out over the next couple decades. How's that?
Yeah, I feel like it'll have to get worse before it gets better. But it just depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at it from a standpoint of, hey, this whole financial system that keeps everyone a debt slave is going to end, that's freaking awesome. So
Yeah,
depending on how you look at it, yes, it's going to suck, but getting us and humanity and future generations out of what we're currently in is going to be so beneficial. And
I've heard absolutely, I've heard the spiritual guys all over the place be talking about it's like a birthing process. It cannot feel good as you're being born into the world, but the future is bright on the other side of this birthing canal. And that's what we're getting squeezed to now. And we're about to just get absolutely squished. Wow. But when we come out the other side, it's a whole new future, and we will be born into a new future, and that's exciting.
I love that. So, Bix, is there anything else that you would like to add to the Gold Word Wednesday?
I would like to say I love gold.
I love gold.
But I love silver better.
Of course. So to wrap up, we talked about how gold is the original anti-fiat store of wealth. We talked about how gold's lustrous and metallic qualities, its relative scarcity, and the difficulty of extraction have only added to the perception of gold as a valuable commodity. We talked about the gold and silver exchange and why that's important. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Bix, for joining me again on Word Wednesday. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. We're going to do our third part of our gold, silver, and next week's episode. So be sure to tune in. It's going to tie together the last 2 weeks of episodes. So I hope you can tune in and have a great week. We'll see you then. Bye.